So I've got the Wall Street cheat sheet pulled up here, and then I've got some graphs I'm going to show you as well. Kind of explain the market psychology when it comes to any kind of trading, stocks, gold, crypto, anything. Crypto happens a lot faster. It's about, I don't know, 10 times faster, maybe even more. So people go through all these emotions 10 times faster. It's a little bit harder. It's more volatile for right now. I expect that to slow down after there's more of a market cap. Right now, the total market cap of cryptocurrencies is a little over 1 trillion. That includes all the altcoins, Bitcoin, everything. Yeah, so let's get started here. I'm going to first pull up the VLX chart. So this shows all the market data from Bitcoin's inception. So it started out, at a couple pennies, and within, it started in, I believe, 2009, but this is the graph. This is the best graph that you can find here. So the first cycle went up about 43,000%, and then it dropped roughly around 93%. This has happened, over and over and over. This drop was about 80%. Then it went into another bear market, about 85%. And then the most recent one was about 83%. So these market cycles are, they go up dramatically, but they retrace about, 80 to 90%. Hopefully that'll slow down sometime within the, next 10 years or so. Bitcoin's going to be around forever. I mean, it's on a blockchain. It's got an algorithm that produces more Bitcoins at each block. So it's just going to continue to do that as long as people continue to mine. The algorithms, they get harder and harder as you go. There's 21 million that can be mined. I think there's quite a few million left to be mined. I kind of like to look at Bitcoin as like a bank account. So right now, you used to get really good interest on bank accounts, 30 years ago or so, or 40 years ago, and that's just dramatically declined. So I could see Bitcoin being some kind of bank account on the internet. You can pull your Bitcoins off of off of exchanges and put them on like ledgers or Trezors. I've got those listed at the top of the Telegram. But let's go over market cycle. So over here we've got disbelief, which everybody is, it has this capitulation event right here. I'll show you the one that happened, most recently because of COVID, or at least, capitulation is just max amount of fear. A lot of really good investors will sit there and say that, when there's blood in the streets, buy, and that's when people are in disbelief that it's gonna rally. Oh, I'm sorry. Actually, so this is the capitulation event. Disbelief is whenever it's rallying and then it has some kind of drop. The next one is going to be hope. So once it goes up a little bit, people are more hopeful. They're still unsure about what's going on. The news is probably still pretty negative about it. They're not bullish at all. And then it consolidates for a little while. And then you have optimism here. So everybody's kind of starting to talk about Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, whatever it is, all of them have their own market cycles. Bitcoin normally leads, and then it looks like Ethereum is the next one, and then it should be Litecoin here pretty soon, and probably Bitcoin Cash. Doesn't really matter the fundamentals right now. It's pretty early in the market. So after optimism, and this is kind of whenever the news starts bringing it up, maybe they'll have people that are more bullish on it, but still some people that are negative on it. Belief is whenever people are starting to take out loans, mortgages on their houses, and throwing that in the market, money that they can't really afford to lose. And that's how you have this, thrill, because everybody's on leverage, or everyone's going to, start talking about it. And then you've got euphoria here. This is where you want to be exiting the market whenever everybody's talking about, how high Bitcoin's going. Maybe it's sitting around $200,000 and they're saying it's going to $500,000 or $1 million. They're normally going to talk like way too bullish about it. So how this kind of happens is when one person, imagine one person outside of a group. So you have one person outside of the group that's invested in cryptocurrencies, and then whenever they're in euphoria, they can't help themselves not to talk about cryptocurrencies. So they'll tell all of their friends, show them charts. They feel euphoric, so they're just completely talking about it, trying to convince everybody to buy it. And that's typically when the market corrects. Then it drops, I don't know what this, I'll show you this drop in the chart. Let's actually pull it up real quick. So euphoria from the last market cycle. So it had this 45% correction. And then you've got complacency in this little area, and they think it's going to go back up. Doesn't make a higher high, so it needed to pass this higher high here. Doesn't make it, and then drops again. 45%. Okay. Then they start to have anxiety. They're not really sure what's going on. They hope it's going back up, but they're not really sure. They're all on leverage, and they all have that money in there that they couldn't afford to lose. And then it drops, even more from that point, all the way to a small capitulation event. So from the high all the way down here, 70%. And then they've got denial here, panic, everyone's selling, I need to get out of the market. Then it rallies again and then consolidates here. I was in here during this consolidation phase, a couple of years. It's pretty boring. Alts just got smashed, and then everybody right here thought it was going to go back up because of the long consolidation period, and it broke down, and then it just kept breaking down, and then it bounced, had a small bounce and broke down. This is where people are in anger, they're depressed, they're really angry. I'm never going to do this market again, it's a scam. Then you start hearing all the news media talking about how it's a scam, it's a Ponzi, just basically manipulating your emotions. Then you've got a long drawn out cycle right here. So you've got depression all the way through here. I mean, this was from the bottom here, had a strong rally, about 330%. And everybody was real bullish on it. And then it had another capitulation event here, a 71% drop. This is when COVID kind of hit, when people were scared about the markets. And it just dropped, it free fell here. So it went back down to about 4,000. It made a higher high from this point. So you just knew that it was going to rally from here. People were scared. There's blood in the streets, all in here. You only had one day to buy it at $4,000 if you wanted to. And then it rallied all the way up to 6,000, came back down, scared people again, and then went from 4,500 all the way up. And it's continued to go up here since that bottom there. It's gone up almost 1,000%. And this looks like wave 3, like I was talking about, but we'll just kind of have to see. And I'll get into Elliott wave a little bit more as we go along. I just want to go over this market cycle with you because this is really important to understand. So the depression happened, it went in that bear market for a really long time. A lot of people are, selling at that point, and then the wealthiest people in the world are picking it up. And that disbelief rally, that was right here. So as long as you can, you're going to feel all of these emotions, and basically if you understand where your feelings are, you're going to know where you are in the market cycle. Like everything in your body is going to tell you to sell when it's down here and dropping. You basically want to do the opposite. If you want to make money, it's going to be, you can make a lot of money in this market. It's one of the best markets to gain or lose money. But over time, you'll kind of understand more about it. You want to buy the fear, sell the greed. So this is greed here. This is greed up here. There are ways to kind of pick the market tops, and we'll kind of go over that too, within about 20 to 30%. So maybe if you knew to buy on this cycle somewhere around here, and then you sold somewhere up here, you would have made about 6,000% on your money on Bitcoin. The gains are dropping as well every market cycle. So it's getting, you're making less money and less money. It's still a significant amount of percentage gain, but that's going to drop over time the more people get involved. And that's pretty much the market cycle. When people are in anger and depression, when you're buying and you're talking about cryptocurrencies and, hey, I just bought some cheap Bitcoin or whatever, nobody wants to buy it. People are just laughing at you. There's a saying that it says, first people ignore you, then they laugh at you, then they fight you, then you win. And you can kind of see that in this cycle in cryptocurrencies. It's happened for the past 10 years. Early adopters that were buying this were just laughed at. And then once the euphoria is over and it starts crashing again, people, same market cycle will happen over and over and over. Cryptocurrency is here to stay, and Bitcoin is here to stay. It could have large corrections. I know there's more institutional adoption than there was in the past, so that could play a role, but I'm assuming it's going to drop again, 80% once it hits somewhere, maybe in a couple 100,000. We'll just kind of have to see. I'm a momentum trader. I look at momentum in the market. I look at sentiment. Also, a lot of people are in here that want to get rich quick. You're going to have to go through some kind of pain, whether it's learning or being through some of the capitulation events to make some money. a lot of people like the big thing right now is day trading. Day trading, 99% of people lose all their money. It's just kind of a hot topic. Most people can't do it. I'd suggest not to mess with it. Your emotions in the beginning will cause you to lose money. You might make some and get lucky, but eventually it's gonna take your account. Holding, they call it hodling, is probably one of the best things to do, or you do some kind of investing or swing trading. But look, if you would have just held Bitcoin for, through all these ups and downs, and you held it for, you put in $100 back here at $3, you have 30 of them, 30 times, 40,000's a pretty good amount of money. So you can just hodl if you want to ride out the waves up and down. I don't plan to do that because I have a lot of money in alts, and alts are probably going to pump harder than Bitcoin, but they'll drop a lot harder too. I plan to sell a lot of my alts at the cycle top, somewhere around wave 5, the end of wave 5, but we'll just kind of have to see. Like here's a chart of Ethereum, same kind of market cycle here. Let's go down to the day. Same thing happened here. Ethereum was around $7 at one time. See, it dropped from 15 all the way down to 7, so you lost 50% of your money. But if you would have just held it, it would have been right back up there within a couple weeks. The last market cycle didn't really have too many pullbacks. I mean, these don't look like much, but they're quite a bit. So this one had a 30% pullback. So if you have 10 grand in the market, you lost, or it appeared you lost $3,000. Then it went up even higher and then crashed down here about 70%. So if you had $10,000 in the market, you had 3, and then it rallied within a short period of time. Scared a lot of people out of the market. You've got a really bullish formation here. It came out, tested, then rallied. This is whenever everybody is in the market in euphoria, and then it just drops. You got complacency here, and then all the way down to anger and depression. Most people bought up here. So if they're waiting years, and even if it rallied here and they quit buying, that's only $280, all the way down to from $1,000. You still are down 70%. So most people sold in this part. Most smart money was buying around this part. They knew what was going to happen, what was happening in the cryptocurrency market. Because you also saw this volume here. This is just volume of people buying and selling. And it started to pick up here. People were saying Ethereum was dead. It wasn't going to do anything. It was going to zero. A lot of Bitcoin maximalists were talking about how Ethereum's a scam coin. And the reason why, so basically the reason why these have the term scam coins is because somebody that's pretty popular in the cryptocurrency space or the Bitcoin space missed this opportunity. So they were holding Bitcoin for 8 years or whatever, and then Ethereum went crazy, and new traders made 16,000% on their money within just a couple of years. So they basically caught up to the people that own Bitcoin and that were Bitcoin maximalists. And basically they're just salty, and they're mad that they missed it. They're mad people got rich without having to hold very long. And that's just how they got the term shit coins. Ethereum, a lot of decentralized finance is being built on it. whether Ethereum succeeds or not, it looks like it's doing pretty good right now. And I expect this to go much higher. It seems like it's gone up a lot so far, but if you look at this last capitulation event and where it is now, it's up 1,600%, which is a lot, right? Let's go back here. Let's actually start right here. The wicks down here, let's see if I can pull that up for you to kind of explain this for you. So you've got wicks here. This just means that's where buyers were. So a huge wick right here means there's a lot of buying pressure. It's kind of like a spaceship coming down and then being bought up, and then a close right there. So the close was a bullish engulfing candle. The green one completely engulfed this red one here with a large wick. Most likely that was the bottom. And then it went up. Let's see what percent. So from that bottom point there, 6,000%, and then it dropped 70%. $21,000%. So I don't expect this to do 21,000%, but we'll just kind of have to see. Bitcoin normally goes through, or crypto normally goes through a 4-year cycle. So probably by the end of this year, close to the end of this year, maybe August or so, this cycle will be pretty close to being over. We'll really just have to tell when that does happen. I don't know where this is going to go. We'll just have to see. Once it has a large correction, kind of like this back here, I'm assuming that will be wave 5, and then we'll go on a rally from, or we'll have a correction from that point. Let's look at LTC. So I showed you guys this chart before. I'm going to take this off. That's Adam and Eve bottom. Certain patterns form because of human behavior. This one had a pretty strong rally from this point all the way up to the top, about 9,000%. This one should do something similar or close to it. About $4,000. So hopefully, between about half of that, maybe. You just have to see. Just pay attention to wave 5. So you had wave 1 here, back, a pullback, wave 3, a pullback, wave 5. And then you have volume building here on the monthly. Bitcoin Cash is kind of doing the same.
I pulled up some images for you.
Oops. I think it was listening to me. Okay, so we've got an Adam and Eve bottom here, looks like. It's got a lot of sell pressure here, but it closed higher. So maybe this consolidates a little bit longer, volume's growing. I expect this to go up within a month, a couple months. I think LTC will be the next one first, and then Bitcoin Cash and some of the other ones. Here's the Bitcoin dominance chart. So this just shows the dominance of Bitcoin in the whole market. Looks like it had a huge rejection here. I'll show you this monthly candle. So is that a bearish engulfing? Yeah, so this closed lower. So I expect alts to rally here. There might be a small bounce here and then a drop. We'll just kind of have to see huge selling pressure on the Bitcoin dominance, which means it's altcoin season. What happened here is kind of what I expect to happen kind of over here. We'll just have to wait and see. We got a cross on the monthly here too, which is a bad sign for Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin can still rally. I just expect the alts to catch up, and they have been. You know, Ethereum's going on a tear right now. Yeah, so it had quite a few months of downturn. This might be a little bit quicker. Not really sure yet. This just looks really good for alts. If you look at the total crypto market cap here, this is total market cap 2. This is the altcoin market. We've got a trend line building here. It broke resistance right here. Volume is building. This should be a good sign for all the alts. Once that busts through, it should pull. Most alts should pull, and Ethereum as well, doing the same thing. Same thing kind of happened over here. Remember the depression of the alts, anger, and smart money was buying down here. Some of these alts will retrace a really large amount too, so being able to pick the top, if you can get out, you'd be in good shape. So about 93% drop here. Smart money was buying. You can see these wicks. So a couple things I want to touch on is emotions. Your emotions will be the reason why you lose your money. If you can kind of learn how to, buy the fear, sell the greed, do the opposite of what your emotions are telling you, that's a really good key indicator. It depends on where the market cycle is. Down here, Wall Street and banks were buying. The news was still really negative about it. You'd probably do pretty well if you just did the opposite of what the news is telling you. They like to put people on there. They're just talking heads. They don't really know what they're talking about. They either have an agenda to push the price down or push it up, and then retail investors get screwed in the end. But you can learn how to trade this. I'm looking at some notes, see what I haven't covered yet. Yeah, so when you're on YouTube, if you get on YouTube and you look for traders that know what they're talking about, a lot of them will act like they know what they're talking about. Most of them don't. Most people are going to lose their money. YouTubers, a lot of them get paid to advertise certain cryptocurrencies, like the new ones, the ICOs. They get paid about $10,000, anywhere from $10,000 to $200,000 is what I've heard. So they're going to talk positive about a cryptocurrency. So I'd be very careful with that. I think they have to disclose that anymore, that they are getting, paid for that. So that's basically how a lot of them make their money. Moon Boys is another one. So they'll put clickbait on YouTube videos. So you'll click it and view their content. There are a few good ones out there, but try to pay attention to the ones that don't use ads on their videos. That's a helpful sign, and then that don't promote products. So Ethereum had at this cycle top up here, Ethereum was around $150 billion, and now it's it's back up there. So you can look at the market cap on CoinMarketCap if you want. I expect this huge wave here is just one, and then a ABC pullback, and then we're going into wave 3 on Ethereum. Nobody knows where it's going. Most likely it's going to be, the price is going to be higher on this one. like the price difference should be higher. Wave 3 is normally, it's never the shortest wave. Oh, another thing about Bitcoin, a lot of people said it was dead. They say they've been saying it's dead for over 10 years. So when it's consolidating at the bottom, they'll tell you it's dead. Any asset that's technically dead that revives itself is extremely bullish. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I've got here. Hopefully that helps you understand the market a little bit better. I plan to try out these webinars and do these somewhat frequently. We'll kind of have to see how it plays out, how many people watch it, and if it was a good use of my time or not. All right, guess I will talk to you all later.